All right, welcome back to The Word on the Street is with Michael and Gaby, where we mention it all about your favorite Bravo stars and the shows they star in.
Today is a really awesome episode because we're back after 2 weeks. We were on a short hiatus for a very special reason that Michael's going to share with you.
Yes, I did get a nose job. You can tell from if you're watching that I have bruises under my nose. I just got my cast off today. I'm loving my nose. It's straight finally. I just got that last week, but we also kind of took a short hiatus because New York ended and Beverly Hills ended. We are not sleeping on Potomac, just so you guys know, but Gabby is not caught up, so it's kind of hard for me to just talk about it by myself. But definitely, if you guys are watching the season of Potomac, it is definitely a top tier season. And if you aren't watching, I recommend you go watch that. Yeah, Gabby's on season 3, I
Yeah,
believe.
yeah,
So next season, for sure, we'll be talking about it. We also are gonna have our first guest this week, so that's really exciting. Our friend Christopher James is going to be on in a little bit, but before that, we want to talk about this week's Bravo news. And the word on the street is that on Real Housewives of New York, we are going to have our first Black cast member. Her name is Ebony K. Williams. Gabby, what are your thoughts?
I'm so excited. It's long overdue to have a Black person on The Real House of New York City. It's been on for 12 seasons. It's time for some diversity.
Yeah, I'm super excited. So I did a little bit of research about her today. She is the host and executive producer of Revolt Black News. She also has a law degree and she published a book in 2017. And she's about 37, I believe. So I think Leah's like late 30s as well. So I think that they're going to get along really well. I'm really excited. I think they're going to be a really good pair. I know Leah needs someone closer to her age. My prediction for next season is that Ramona is going to struggle with a younger, more diverse cast. I think she's going to feel out of her element for sure.
Yeah, she's kind of like Shannon Bedore in that way. They do not seem to like the new girls.
Yeah, and Vicky as well. But I think, if she can adapt, then she can go.
Yeah, agreed.
Adapt to the new younger people or go. I mean, as we've seen this year, nobody is exempt from the firings. If you're not going to bring it, then bye.
So the next bit of gossip that Michael and I found out this week is that our girls, Portia Williams and Kenya Moore, have unfollowed each other on Instagram.
Yeah, as we had been talking about the past couple podcasts, we've been speculating that both girls have been feuding this upcoming season. So we're getting two newbies, and one of them is kind of coming on as Kenya's friend, and one of them is coming on as Portia's friend. So there's definitely going to be a feud. There's going to be, I'm guessing, two cliques. So I guess I'm not really surprised. Yeah, I love Atlanta because it can get dark, like the Phaedra season 9 Candy Dungeon. We're not going to talk about that. But it can also be really lighthearted, like fun shade and banter. So I like that Atlanta can bring both sides of that. So also in terms of Atlanta, Cynthia Bailey got married this past Saturday, 10/10/20, along with Kelly Dodd. Now, do you have any predictions? Do you think these marriages are gonna last?
Kelly and Rick Leventhal, who is a reporter for Fox News, I don't see them lasting. This is Kelly's third marriage and it's his second marriage. And that is not why I don't think they'll last. I don't think they will last because of Kelly being Kelly. They also got engaged really fast. They got engaged after being together for a very short amount of time. And then I think altogether it's been like a year. I just teach their own. That just seems really fast to me. And also, Kelly just clearly isn't a nice person. So maybe her true colors are going to show to Rick at some point, but who knows?
And they also met from Ramona, so I just don't
Yeah, you know what they say about the company you keep.
I'm rooting for Cynthia and Mike Hill. Chill. I know I did see rumors that he was like cheating on her, but honestly, there's rumors that every husband is cheating on their wife in the housewives world, so I don't really know what to believe in terms of that,
With
but I am rooting for them.
with Mike, he comes across to me as almost too good to be true. He always seems to say the right thing for the most part, and he just seems like kind of a really good car salesman to me. And it seems inauthentic to me, and I'm not into it. I think Cynthia thinks this is forever. I think she's
Yeah.
super into everything with him. And I do really like Cynthia, so I hope he doesn't screw her over.
Yeah, and we did see a little bit last season that there was there was that episode where all of his girlfriends were there and some kind of drama was coming up from his past, and
Mhm.
his daughter went in her room and was crying. So I'm still rooting for them. That would have been her second marriage to be aired on The Real Housewives of Atlanta, and it would have been the first housewife to ever get married twice on Housewives. But I did hear a rumor that they didn't film, so I'm not really sure.
They did not film. I saw that as well. I did see some of our favorite ladies from Potomac were in attendance at Cynthia's wedding. Giselle Bryant was there.
I believe Sheree was there, Claudia Jordan, who was a one season wonder. So I was really hoping to see all of that, like the Potomac Atlanta mix, the old Atlanta Housewives. I think that would have been really fun to see, but I understand why the producers were worried in terms of COVID. So
Yeah, for sure. I'm glad that they were all safe. But I would have really loved to see the footage from that wedding, especially since other Bravo celebrities were there.
yeah, that's what would have made it amazing.
Our next bit of news is ex housewife related, and it's about Yolanda Foster's ex husband, David Foster, who some of you may know married his now fifth wife, Catherine McPhee, and they are now expecting their first child together. Michael, what are your thoughts?
I never was a David Foster fan. I still remember that episode. I think it was season 3 when they went to Yolanda and David's house and Taylor was singing and he yelled at her. He's like, "No singing." And I don't know. I still always will remember that episode. I just think he's an asshole. And I guess I don't really care. Like, good for them.
I was just surprised because David is no spry chicken, and he wasn't even when he was married to Yolanda. I always thought he majorly like upgraded marrying Yolanda. I thought she
Yeah.
was so out of his league. He really married well. So when I saw he married Catherine McPhee, I was like, what is happening to the world?
Yeah, I mean, she's like only 30 something and he's like I think 60. Which I am all for an age gap couple. I date older men as it is, but I don't know. I think to be that old and having a kid, like,
Also, to be somebody's fifth wife's kind of a tough pill to swallow, for me at least.
I don't know. I mean, good luck to them.
So now we are going to circle back to Kelly Dodd, who has been all over the Bravo news world lately. She was seen at her recent bridal shower for her, as we were just talking about. She got married October 10th, 2020. She still had her bridal shower maybe a week or two before, and there was video footage of her wearing a hat that said Drunk Wives Matter. And she's been heavily defending it, saying it's humor, and Kelly, no one's laughing.
No. And she's like, "Well, it was a gift and whatever," but it's not funny to me. I mean, I just think it's really insensitive to compare being a drunk, White House, well, I guess she's Mexican, but to be a drunk housewife, like to compare that to the innocent black people that are being murdered every day, like it's not a joke. It should not be taken lightly. And the worst part about it is, then the next day or the next couple of days after she receives backlash, she comes up with these phony apologies like, I support racial equality, blah, blah, blah. And then the next day she's going off on people, all lives matter, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's just so phony. Keep your apology, keep your publicity, keep your PR stunt if you're not going to be genuine about it.
That being said, a lot of Bravo fans are now boycotting the Real Housewives of Orange County. We are really only sticking around for Bronwyn at this point.
Yeah, I'm sticking for Bronwyn and Shannon right now, but we are gonna make a point to mention Kelly very little this season. So
And when we do, we want to acknowledge how insensitive she is towards the Black Lives Matter movement. And her apology actually didn't even really qualify as an apology. She ended it with telling people to go F themselves if they like didn't
Exactly.
have a sense of humor. So she just made a really awful situation even worse. And on top of that, Kelly has already been in the hot seat for her behavior regarding COVID and the responses that she has said to people on Instagram when they show concern about her behavior and lack of wearing a mask during a pandemic.
Exactly. She said that, COVID was God's way of thinning the herd. And then she posts these things on Instagram wearing a mask through the restaurant just to take it off 10 seconds later is so dumb. It's like, then don't go to a restaurant. But why do you have such a big platform and that's what you're gonna post on Instagram? Like if that's your biggest inconvenience, then you live a pretty good life.
Agreed. Hashtag privileged.
Yeah. Anyway, over her, done.
We can only
Bye.
handle so much Kelly Dodd before we lose more brain
Yeah.
cells.
I mean, and okay, one more thing. It is sad for me because I will say that Kelly was one of my favorite housewives. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna say I was a big Kelly supporter. I loved the way she took on the Tres Abuelas. But, I think she's given us so many funny moments. And I was always rooting for her against Heather, against Shannon, against Vicky, against Tamra. So it's just a bummer for me to now see this and be like, well, damn, I was really going hard for her. And now I have to be like, nope, I'm done.
Yeah, it's a bummer when a housewife that starts off as a fan favorite takes such a steep nosedive.
Yeah, it's to the point where and I can't support her any longer.
So the next bit of news is Southern Charm season 7 is premiering at the end of this month, and we're really excited about that because Southern Charm is a show that Michael and I both have been watching during quarantine, and it's really really good. However, I am a bit skeptical for season 7 because we're losing like half the cast.
Yeah, we're losing Naomi, Eliza, which I didn't really care about, but Chelsea and of
Cameron.
course Cameron, the fan favorite, our narrator, our voice of reason. I am definitely gonna miss her. What I do like about Southern Charm is that, we are getting a woman of color, that a Persian girl, Leva. And so I think she is going to kind of come for Catherine and try to educate her. So I can be here for, this for an improvement.
So our last bit of Bravo news is about one of the Real Housewives of Dallas.
Unfortunately, Brandy Redmond's mother-in-law got into a car crash and she passed away. And also Brandy's 9-year-old daughter, Brinkley, was in the car. Luckily, she survived. So definitely Brandy and her family are in my thoughts right now. And just to clarify, it was the younger daughter, Brinkley, not the bratty daughter, Brooklyn, that had so many scenes. I love her because she's so funny.
Not to go on a side note, but if I ever spoke to my mom the way Brooklyn spoke to her mom, Brandy, I would have been in so much trouble. The fact she was able to leave the room,
She was so bad, but I loved every second of it. And I honestly thought she was kind of the star of last season.
and I don't think Dallas will be around for too many more seasons.
No, I think we'll see how next season is. We're getting Tiffany Moon, who I follow on TikTok, and I think she's really funny. And she's also a person of color. She's Asian. So I'm kind of looking forward to her. But with Lee, I know, I don't support Leanne's comments, but she was the most entertaining one. I can't deny that. I think we'll see how next season goes, what direction it's going in. And then if it's bad, give it another season.
Yeah, it's really crazy to me though that Dallas could last longer than Miami.
Seriously, when Miami was so much better. And it's weird because we haven't seen a franchise get canceled since Miami, like years ago. And so I don't really know what to expect. Like, if they're still getting views, are they still gonna just keep making more cities? I mean, with Salt Lake City, we're now at 8 cities. And so it's like, are we just gonna keep going up or, are some gonna get canceled at some point? I'm not really sure.
Just as long as I keep getting good Bravo content, I don't really care if they cancel or have to start something new. Just give me the golden days of the OC. Give me like Beverly Hills season 2 drama. Just give me that and we're
Yeah,
good.
that's what we need. And that's why new cities are great because they're refreshing. It's new people, new drama. You know, some of these cities that have been on for 10, 15 seasons, sometimes it just gets so, the drama just gets so old and played out. And that's why I think it's great to have new cities, new wives. It keeps Bravo refreshed. All right, so we have our first guest finally, the one and only Christopher James, and we want to introduce him by getting into his Bravo palette per se.
Perfect. I live probably closer to Teddy Mellencamp's old house, if that's any like picture. But I am 22 and I'm like obsessed with Bravo. Like I can like literally give you all the reads from Portia versus Kenya, Phaedra. We love Miss Phaedra. Definitely my Bravo palette is very like, it's all over the place, but in a good way. Bronwyn, I don't count her as OC. I kind of count her as like somebody with a moral compass. So
Yeah.
she's on my palette, and I think her sharing her story about her sobriety was so powerful, and it just made me like her more. Ultimate favorite, You Better Boom Like an 808 from Decatur. It's Portia Williams. She is like my favorite housewife, I think, because she just is just so free. We stand Portia. Like that is like someone, when I first got in Housewives, she was the first housewife that I fell in love with. And I wish I could tie it with Lisa Rinna because like that's number 2. Lisa Rinna, I'm a stan. I will always be a Rinna stan. Number 3, oh God. Okay, so I'm gonna have to, it's a weird one, but I'm into Tinsley because I think she brought like a younger demographic to the show. You know, a bunch of older Upper East and West Side women, it gets kind of bland. I mean, I always will love Dorinda. Unfortunately, she didn't make my list just because her impact is kind of went down. Number 4, oh my God, number 4 is embarrassing, but Erica Jane. It's not embarrassing in a bad way. It's embarrassing because every like gay boy loves Erica Jane, but like we love Erica Jane. This look was a little bit inspired by like Erica Jane, Lisa Rinna. This blazer is actually the same blazer color that Lisa Rinna wore when she met with Sutton. I was going to shoot the top underneath and then the crown, but you know, we didn't have time. I'm still in the same makeup from work, so we look terrible. Is what it is. And number 5, can I say like a former housewife that isn't a housewife anymore?
Yeah, anyone.
Okay, perfect. Well, so I want to say Jen Shaw, but like she hasn't been introduced, but I already stan her. She followed me back on Instagram. I stan Jen Shaw, and she is not to be messed with, and we love her. But I think my 5th one would have to be Phaedra. I think she brought something that was just so messy, but she was like this like church lady. But then she brought out the freak nasty vacation wear, and like her one-liners were just so good. Like her and Uni like together, just boom.
One thing I love about Phaedra is the drama she created gave us a 4-part reunion for season 9.
Christopher, your palette is a lot closer to mine. I have Rinna, Erica, and Portia all in my top 5, and I love Tinsley and Phaedra, so I think we're really similar in our favorites.
Yeah,
Gabby, who are your top 5? I remember from the first podcast, but
you and I overlap for sure with Rinna. I love Portia.
So Gabby's more of a Kenya stan than a Portia stan.
No, honestly, Kenya, I think she is so funny. She's really smart. Also, what she represents as being the second Black Miss USA is super iconic. She's made me laugh out loud, probably more than Bethany Frankel.
So Christopher, then let's hear who your top 5 least favorite are.
I'm excited for this.
The whole cast of Orange County, with COVID Dodd, I can't. Kelly Dodd, you can send me a cease and desist. I have 5 lawyers. You can only afford 1 because you're wedding. Or just got through shade. I liked Kelly. It's sad. I used to like Kelly. I thought Heather was gaslighting.
I will say Kelly was a top 5 housewife for me too, but her actions don't make me like Heather Dubrow anymore because I do still think that Heather Dubrow is a gaslighter. And yes, Kelly is trash, but no matter who it is, you don't corner them in a limo and call them trash. And I just feel like her true colors showed there. So yes, I hate
Yeah.
Kelly, but it doesn't make me like Heather Dubrow anymore.
I mean, I will say that I can't with Ramona anymore. Ramona gives us great television, but I think her ignorance has really shown. And that's just something that, for me, I can't really get behind. I can't stand Kyle or Teddy anymore. I physically can't. Those are going to be my top five. So it's like Kelly Dodd, Ramona, Kyle, Teddy, and like, I actually think Mary Crosby is probably going to be someone that I won't like. I'm going to give her a chance, but I think, you know, with her edited Instagram photos, hey, we all love a good edit, but you know, that trailer for SLC dropped and she looked nothing like those Instagram photos. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's about time Bravo kind of, you know, branches out just like that Housewives, you know, category and really, you know, hones it to maybe the LGBTQIA plus community as well. I think that would be something great. We could even have the first lesbian housewife, first bisexual housewife. I would like to actually see the first trans housewife. I think that would be beautiful. I think that would be something that is needed.
I would love that. I don't think there's any such thing as too much diversity.
No. And I think we're going in that direction for sure with New York, with Garcelle on Beverly Hills.
I think Salt Lake City is bringing a whole different dynamic with the Mormon ideology behind the show. I think that's something amazing. I think it's great that Jen Shah is on it because she's bringing the Muslim identity behind it. And I think that's something that we haven't seen before. And I think it's about time.
Yeah, we're seeing diversity in religion that we've never seen before. They're not all Mormon. You know, Jen is converting to Islam, and there's one of them is Jewish. So before we get into talking about the premiere of OC, we just want to know what your favorite franchise is out of all the Real Housewives.
I think Atlanta for me, because as weird as it is, Atlanta actually taught me how to defend myself. It's weird. When I grew up, I was bullied a lot. So Atlanta kind of taught me how to read a bit. Oh, I can't curse. And I read someone. And I think that's like what my favorite franchise is. I think Married to Medicine, I think it's great because it shows a predominantly Black female cast. And it shows most of them are doctors, but they're also married to doctors too, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, Gabby and I both love Atlanta. I think that's definitely up there for both of us. And we are ready for it to come back.
Especially since we've got such a big teaser of all the drama to come this season.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot going on, and I think it's going to be fine without Nene.
I think Nene brought like the shade to the show, but I think it's good that I hope it's a break for now. I think she needs the break.
Yeah.
And I think Kenya can fully make up for the shadiness that Nene throws. That would be lovely.
Yeah.
I just like a season where Portia and Kenya get along. I've wanted that for a while because the reads with them together.
I know.
Like when I got into Atlanta, I started in season 8 with Kim Fields. So then I backtracked, watched it from the jump. And I was like, okay, Miss Phaedra came on. I was like, okay, Phaedra, you're going to be like my ride or die. And then, you know, she got fired after what she did to Candy. And we haven't heard from her since. And now she's friends with Tamar Braxton. Good for her.
And I love Kenya still. I think she's a great villain. I think she's great for the show. But my issue with Kenya is she is so shady and she does shit just for the effect of it. And she throws shade. And I just feel like she's not a good friend at the end of the day.
I agree with you 100%.
I think Kenya kind of ruined that. But I still like her. Sorry, Gabby. So should we get into the Orange County premiere?
Let's do it.
So what are our thoughts and what stood out?
So we kicked off this episode with Shannon and her new family dynamic, and she clearly seems really into John, and they seem very happy together. He has 3 kids. She has 3 kids. It seems like it's working. What do y'all think?
I'm really happy for her. She seems really happy. I like that his kids are older as well. I feel like there seems to be a really good dynamic with the kids, which is really hard, especially with 3 kids on each side and trying to combine that. I mean, that can be really tough. So I'm really happy for her. What do you think, Christopher?
I think it's about time that Shannon found someone. I actually met Shannon in 2000, oh God, 2000 like 18, met
Yep.
Shannon. And, I think she's really grown from, the divorce, the weight loss. I think, to be honest, I like Shannon a little bit fuller because I think she's happier that way. I think when she got caught up in her diets and her enemas, oh Lord, I think it kind of, made her she is a different person than who she was when she originally started.
Oh my God, she's gone through so much. Like, even just watching her first season, she looks like an entirely different person than how she looks now. She's been through so much in, I don't know, 6, 7 seasons. So it's good to see her in this light.
I will say, I like her big family now. I like that. I hope it works out because I think her daughters are extremely happy.
I think it also fits Shannon well. She seems like she's very family oriented, and I feel
Mhm.
like she just is one of those people that's like, the more the merrier. I just want as many people in the house as possible.
Yeah, I think it's a good dynamic. So speaking of big families, we also saw that none other than Jaina Kirschenheiter now has a new man, and he has 3 kids. She has, I believe, 2 boys and a girl, and he has 2 girls and a boy. So there's 3 boys, 3 girls. Now she has a pretty small place, so there's 2 bedrooms for 6 kids. So we have a bunk bedroom for the 3 boys and a bunk bedroom for the 3 girls. I don't know. It seems a little congested for me, but
I mean, I will say it's real cozy up in that house. Hopefully those Bravo checks kick in so she can get a bigger place. I liked her place that she had with when she went through the divorce of Matt. I like that a lot more. I
okay.
think that was more spacious and I think it was more family oriented. I'm happy she found someone. I don't necessarily agree with keeping, 3 kids in one room, 3 kids in the other. I think that is just not right. I think they're going to get on each other's nerves. So she needs to get a bigger house.
I agree. My thing with Gina is like, I don't feel like she's a housewife. Like, she's always such a mess and she doesn't even have like any money. And I don't really get her, I guess I'll say.
I don't get her either. I agree with you 100%. I think, she is there, but she's not, it's not even about financial level. It's about the level that she needs to bring to the show. And I don't think she's brought that. I think she's kind of just like, she's like every regular suburban mom that I know. Like,
Exactly.
bring something. I think, when the trailer drops, she and Bronwyn go head to head later in the season. But where was that your first season? That's like your breakout. It's kind of
Yeah.
like the Teddy Mellencamp, but Orange County edition.
Yeah. I agree. She is kind of a Teddy for me, but I am looking forward to that feud. What
Oh,
did we think about the new girl, Gabby?
I know Elizabeth Vargas has supported Kelly Dodd on Instagram, but I will say the only saving grace for her to me is the fact that she's a huge dog lover and she's building a whole like rehab center for dogs to go into. That's something that's extremely near and dear to me. I do get major like Sonia vibes from her, like from being married to a billionaire. She talks about it a lot, and it's only the first episode. It's too soon for me to make a full opinion.
I'm gonna agree with you on the dog part. I think she brings like a different, like no F's given dynamic, which is great. But her being so vocal with Kelly Dodd on Instagram, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I feel like if you're supporting someone that's kind of like, toxic, you're gonna be toxic. I think I'd like to see Elizabeth without the Kelly dynamic. I want to see like
Uh,
where.
I will say, like, coming into the season, I did not expect to like her, and I think that's gonna skew my opinion of her throughout the whole season, just because I just was not looking forward to her. And I will say, if I hadn't had this prior knowledge of her, I would say probably, yeah, she kind of seems fun and lighthearted, and I might like her. But knowing her relationship with Kelly, I'm a little bit eerie on her. So I guess we'll see.
That's like one of the only crappy parts about social media now is that we get like a behind the scenes look at all the housewives. We don't get to
Mhm.
like judge them now after a full season. We get to like see everything before the season even starts. So that's like something that I miss about the old school Real Housewife days, like Beverly Hills when that aired. I didn't have an Instagram. I didn't like go
Yeah.
and look up all of their Instagrams as the show started. So that aspect, that I am a little nostalgic about that part of Housewives. I do wish I couldn't like look them up and like have a preconceived notion starting off a new season.
I totally agree. Even before like Salt Lake City even announced the cast, me and Gabby were like, "Oh, we were Instagram messaging like this girl's on, this girl's on, this guy, and we're stalking them. Oh, this girl kind of reminds me of Dorit," and so we have all this. We kind of get a look behind the curtain before we even see them.
You know what I liked about when Salt Lake City was first announced? I liked how we were able to see who the housewives were without their huge following, kind of see like the beginning of them. And I like that aspect. I like seeing like the new housewife. Like when Jen Shaw followed me back, I was like, whoa, wait, what? A housewife is following me back? I'm
Yeah,
like not even important. We love Jen Shaw, but like
yeah,
I like that aspect to see who they were before the show. And I think that's like something great. I think to touch on Gabby's point of missing like the feuds like before, like not seeing it and then just watching it air out. I think it's good that we kind of get like the backstory though, like in a way, like but like now when the housewives get dirty, it's like Instagram posts like shading the other one.
yeah. Kind of like the Candace and Monique drama. We whole another.
Hopefully we can like touch on it briefly because
Yeah. Yeah.
Potomac child.
What we think about Bronwyn, we saw her new house and her sobriety. What are our thoughts on that?
Go ahead,
Um,
Christopher.
oh, Christopher, I feel so professional. But no, I think like to be honest with you, Bronwyn kind of touched probably so many hearts. Like I know I've personally like I've thought about being sober before, and like some of what she said kind of like hit me in a way. I'm obviously not sober. I'm drinking wine, but I find it really like I think as a housewife admitting that you have a problem is first off so hard because you're on such a big platform. But when she touched upon it, it just made me really like see who she really is. Like we saw all of that first season of Bronwyn, and we were like, okay, she's like the fun party girl. But
Yeah.
now that she's like opened up fully and had this time, and I think quarantine helped it in a way because I, I just fell in love with her after that. Some viewer somewhere, she definitely touched the heart of, and I was just like, you did good. I'm proud of her.
I agree. I think Bronwyn is using her platform not just like for sobriety, but she's also very vocal about the BLM movement. She's super supportive of her son, who is now getting into drag. I just love seeing parents that are supportive of their children. So she's very genuine, and she is one of the few housewives that is like giving us a full glimpse into her life, whether it's the good, bad, or the ugly.
Yeah, I agree. I last season, she really didn't do a lot for me. I thought, yeah, she's kind of fun, but at the same time, I thought she was really messy at her, when she was done breastfeeding party and she was just all over the place. It was just a lot. And I just, even before the season started to see a lot of her social media, I was like, okay, you know what? Now I'm seeing more of who Bronwyn really is. And then to see this premiere and to see that now finally on TV makes me really happy. When the episode ended and she said, I'm Bronwyn and I'm an alcoholic. And when she had her conversation with Emily and said, last year I wasn't ready to hear what you were telling me, and now I'm ready. I was really happy to see this transformation from her. And I think she's going to continue to be a great housewife.
I 100% agree with everything that you said. I honestly think when that episode ended, that was just a powerful statement. And I'm
Yeah.
happy the production company and Bravo decided to cut it there. I think, it foreshadowed the season, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, it was very moving. It almost gave me like goosebumps when she said it.
I've actually cried many of a time at a Housewives episode. It was this and Portia's whole drama with Dennis. That kind of made me tear up a little bit.
Getting on a different topic, what do we think about, like, what's the drama going to be this season? I know we saw a little bit of the Kelly versus Shannon. They seem to make up. Do we think they're going to be friends this season? Are they going to be feuding?
I mean, what we've seen on social media, we can already tell that Bronwyn and Kelly are good. I mean, Bronwyn was at Kelly's house. So, like, I know that there might be little tips there, but I think Shannon and Kelly are going to, like, team up later in the season.
Sure.
I have that premonition. They're going to team up. They're the OGs now. Like,
Yeah, they are.
it's crazy. I miss Megan King Edmonds because she brought kind of, what we need in this world to the world of Orange County.
No.
We saw photos of the finale on Instagram. So Bronwyn wasn't present in the picture when it was posted. So I think Bronwyn will probably be on the outs with most of the ladies. I think she will continue to have a relationship, with Kelly. I mean, they go way back. I don't think, that's going to break it. I think definitely Emily is going to be put in the middle this season. I think we're going to see her probably get into it with someone. It's probably going to be Shannon. I think Emily and Shannon will butt heads. They filmed during quarantine. Remember, they were like the only franchise to do it through COVID. I hate that Orange County is the first one, though.
Of course, I know.
I live in Orange County. I live less than an hour away from the OC Housewives.
Oh my gosh, you live in OC, I'm in LA. We're gonna have to do dinner at the Quiet Woman, girl.
Oh my gosh, the Quiet Woman, yeah.
Oh, we're going to Buca de Beppo. Well, getting back to OC, I will say that, yeah, like you said, I think Kelly and Shannon will be a team this season. Yes, they're the two longest running housewives on OC. Plus, I will say Tamra and Vicky did get in Shannon's ear a lot. And so I'm kind of excited to see her without them, just because I just think Tamra's such a toxic friend and was such a bad friend to her, and she gaslighted her so much. I am looking forward to the Gina and Bronwyn drama. I'm just not really sure what other drama we're gonna get, really.
I heard Elizabeth might be involved in a lot. I don't read the blogs, but what the blogs were, kind of saying were that Elizabeth was on the outs with the ladies because a lot of what she said didn't add up. I can genuinely see that. She is the new housewife. She probably wants to make a name for herself. But, coming in your first episode saying, I was married to a billionaire, probably isn't like the best way to go about yourself. I mean, it's honestly to me another Matt and Gina situation. Remember how they blurred his photo? They blurred her husband's photo. Like, I mean, Elizabeth, I definitely see getting into it. It's her first season. She wants to be a breakout. I could tell that from the first episode.
And I will say we are going to see Matt this season. I don't know if you saw him in the trailer, but I think that'll be interesting.
I want to see how he interacts with, Gina and her new man.
Yeah.
I mean, his Instagram photos are great, but let's see how he is in person. Do we think Bronwyn will bring in the fact that Matt and Gina and the new boy are together? Maybe that's what causes maybe some drama with Bronwyn and Gina.
I have one last observation from the episode. Do you guys realize how every wife was talking about their relationship? We saw Kelly and Rick. We saw Shannon and her new guy. We saw Gina and her new guy. We saw Elizabeth, she has this new boyfriend or whatever. And Emily and Shane, obviously. But did you notice that we didn't see Bronwyn and her husband?
Michael and I have had speculation about Bronwyn and her husband for a little bit now.
Yeah, weird for the show to start and then to not even see him. And I don't know if I'm just reading into it too much.
I honestly think, maybe Bronwyn and her husband are separated. And if that means she's not with her husband or they're separated, I only wish the best for her. I mean, juggling 7 kids, is very hard. I think that puts a lot of strain on the relationship. I think maybe, her sobriety has put a lot of strain on the relationship. But we have seen, on social media, her being with her husband, in support of Bronwyn and her husband wearing high heels. I'm wearing go-go boots. Hello.
God.
Maybe they end up separated at the end of the season. I know she was with her husband, recently. It was on Instagram. I don't like the way that the producers edited that. I thought that was a shady edit towards Bronwyn. I think that's going to be featured this season.
Yeah, I think so too.
And her mom, Dr. Deb. I think that's going to be, I hope that's featured because I love Dr. Deb. I think she brought some funk to the show. I loved her dreads. I was into it.
See, I didn't like Dr. Deb. I thought she was a knockoff version of Lydia's mom, Judy.
Oh, no, not Judy. I mean, speaking of Lydia, she got apparently her own Bravo show on like Peacock or something.
Why Lydia? They brought her back for a season and she brought nothing. Like, didn't we learn our lesson with her?
Oh, and she can't even appreciate a good drag queen brunch.
Oh my God, that bothered me. That sent me off. Stop using your religion as an excuse, Lydia. Goodbye. We didn't want you on OC to begin with. Like, peace out.
The Bible doesn't say anything about drag queens, okay?
I feel bad for her, like, kids though, because like they're going to maybe grow up with that ideology. And Bronwyn is the only wife of OC that I think is teaching her kids right. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, I will say I don't like Kelly Dodd, but you know, Joe Lee seems to be really mature. And I don't know how.
I agree. I think the only thing that brought me to Kelly Dodd was when she took her daughter to the homeless shelter and they fed the homeless. I know for a fact that that wasn't a TV ploy. Like, Kelly Dodd, I'm not going to stick up for her, but I will say this. Kelly Dodd is probably the most charitable housewife, not most, but one of the most charitable housewives that there is, because she teaches her daughter not to be spoiled.
I liked Kelly Dodd until now, so.
She seems to have changed a great lot. And I think, you know, associating with someone like Ramona Singer, you know, you are who you hang out with, and I'll leave it at that.
I agree. She seems to have done a like complete 180 since dating Rick. Yeah. I don't know. She does seem to have changed for me as well. So
yeah,
and
we'll leave it at that. Well, do we have any last words, predictions, anything for OC?
It was the lowest viewed, you know, season premiere in the Orange County history. I understand why, because there isn't the OGs that we've loved. I'm going to put we in quotes because not everybody has loved them. I will agree, Vicky gave us great TV. You know, some of her genuine moments I will miss.
You know, I think her time is up. I don't think she'll ever come back. I could see Tamra or Heather coming back, even potentially MKE, Megan King Edmonds.
I think MKE is just MK now. I thought she brought something, you know, very like different to the show. I liked her openness. And that's, I liked her millennialisms because, like, let's be honest, like, we need to have less of the red and more of the blue on the show.
He's the one who exposed Brooks for lying about cancer.
I mean, he was lying. I mean,
oh my God.
I just don't understand as a human being. And this is when I turn on Vicky. I don't understand how you can keep up the facade. Like, maybe you didn't know, but when you finally found out, you should have just said, look, I messed up. He lied. This is what he lied about. I covered for him because I thought he loved me.
Yeah.
But when you defend a liar, you are a liar.
Well, I will say too, my issue with Vicky was that she was in on that cancer scam. Now this past season, when Bronwyn is making out with Tamra, she's like, oh, all these morals and, you know, we can't have two girls kissing. Well, where were your morals when you were dating a man that literally faked having cancer?
So one of my favorite things about this podcast that Michael and I started together is our fun fact of the week. So tonight's fun fact is about Big Poppa. Real Housewives of Atlanta fans will remember Big Poppa. And I found some pretty juicy info on him. Those of you who aren't huge Atlanta fans, or you haven't watched it from the very beginning, Big Poppa was Kim Zolciak's former sugar daddy. And his name, shockingly, is not Big Poppa. His name is Lee Nahar. Currently today, he is 62 years old. He is a very wealthy businessman and real estate developer. I guess that explains how he was able to pay for Kim's townhouse, her Range Rovers, her Escalades, her wigs, you name it. I'm pretty sure Big Poppa, or Lee, whatever we're going to call him from now on, I'm pretty sure he was paying for all of it. So what is crazy to me is that he actually was married the entire time he was buying Kim all of these like gifts. It's not like these are like small purchases too. Like, so the fact that he was doing all of this while he was married, like, what an ass. Anyway, he was married to this woman while buying Kim all of these gifts. And what's really ironic to me is that Big Poppa's wife was also named Kim. They have 2 kids together and they are still married. So either she doesn't know about Kim or she has never turned on the TV in her life. I don't know. Also, which is really funny to me, is Nene was right. Kim was sleeping with a married man. So to wrap up about Big Poppa, one other thing that I did find in perusing through Instagram about him is that one of his daughters posted a photo to hit her Instagram of her at Kyle's daughter's Halloween party, Farrahween. That is the annual birthday party for Kyle Richards' eldest daughter, Farrah. And Farrah's birthday's on Halloween, so they have Farrahween every year. Well, Big Poppa's daughter was at it one year posting photos with Farrah.
Crazy.
Very, very small reality TV world we live in.
Really small. Well, if you remember on one of the early seasons of Atlanta, Kim was doing another song with Candy, and it was called The Ring Didn't Mean a Thing, because Big Poppa had gotten Kim a ring, and she thought that Big Poppa was gonna leave his wife, and he never did. So I remember that drama. But honestly, the Big Poppa, like the first episode of Atlanta, we met Big Poppa, and I thought it was so iconic. Yeah, the first seasons of Atlanta, you cannot beat it. Nene-isms and Kim in her wig, like I miss those times. And Gabby, have you been watching Don't Be Tardy? Because that just started back up.
Admittedly, I have watched quite a few episodes of Don't Be Tardy, but I have not started this season.
I have to say I have been watching, but it's more like mindless. Like I keep it on in the background and I half watch, but it's just like whatever. They're like in an RV and they're like traveling to like Ohio and Missouri. Like it's not, it's, it's another Bravo show and I'm thankful for that. Well, first of all, thank you, Chris, for joining us.
I mean, I don't like to plug my stuff, but if you want to follow me on Instagram, hopefully these 2 lovely human beings with the love and light will have me back at some point. My Instagram is _Christopher_James, but because we've been off TikTok for a while, child. Also, I think giftees, I think that's someone that we really need to recognize. They have been someone me and my bad grammar, college educated, oh my God. But I think there's someone that everyone should check out. If you're obsessed with Bravo, like all of us, you should check them out. They have great merch. I always go wear my Lisa Rinna Rep It, but we're talking about Orange County. And I feel like they have great Orange County merch. Like, don't get me wrong, they have, COVID Dodd.
And I follow giftees. They're great. I have the Lisa Rinna tank that has her with the crown and it says it's not so heavy. So yeah, they do have really cool stuff.
And then if I can also plug one thing that is Bravo related as well. If we want to get this book, Cooking with Miss Quad, no, she did not tell me to promote this. But if you're a terrible cook like me and want to learn to cook right, if you're fresh out of college, you're living on your own, you just want to make great food, Cooking with Miss Quad. I have Michael and Gaby. You're both receiving copies very soon.
Oh my God.
So yeah, you are. So I didn't tell you, but that was going to be my gift, to gift a cookbook. I was going to gift, renovation child, but, being a guest on such a great podcast. I listen to your podcast actually when they drop all the time. So I'm happy you guys had me. Hopefully we can do this again.
Thank you so much for tuning in this week for the Word on the Street is podcast with our special guest, Christopher. It was so fun having you here. We love talking all things Bravo with you, hearing your Housewives palette, and we hope to have you back soon. We will be back next week with more Bravo news and more Word on the Street.